Researchers have transplanted young cells from infant animals into the brains of elderly mice and found that those cells take over. They don't just repair the damage, they replace the cells in the brain. It's recently been found that glial cells, yes, your brain's immune system, actually recruit your immune system to attack your brain when you become elderly, and repairing this may actually extend our brain's lifespan. There's a lot of research from a lot of different directions on reducing the effects of aging, and a lot of that focuses on genetic editing, which apparently does work, but your cells are still going to age, so you need to attack this at all sides. Now, replacing tissue in a mice with human tissue is nothing new. In fact, it's been done for a long time. It just usually focused on embryogenesis. Being able to replace the cells of an adult animal is relatively new. If you replace the neurons in a mouse's brain with human neurons, they will end up being smarter as they grow up, and that is definitely an ethical concern, but it's still going on. You can also give them genes for human speech, and they'll make a greater variety of squeaks. I did check to see if anyone had done both at the same time. Did anyone give mice the genes for speech and human neurons? Apparently no. I also checked for other animals, and I was disappointed to find out it had not been done for a dog. It's probably good I don't have a lot of money, because I'm very curious. Now, back to our mice who had human brain cells put in their brains to see if young cells could rescue old cells. Now, there still are a lot of questions on exactly why this phenomenon is happening, if it is the glial cells that are aging, or if it's that the white matter is aging and then your immune system doesn't want that to be around anymore. Either way, it's dysfunctional. So why not just replace the offending cell? And that's exactly what these researchers did. Now, you may ask if this will eventually become a treatment for humans, or is it simply for research? Because when you do humanize a mouse's brain, often it's used as a stand-in for people. While you can grow a brain organoid, so a tiny version of a human brain, in a dish, you're losing a lot of context when it's not in a whole animal. So putting it in a mouse does give you a more human-like way of studying it. They found that the glial cells didn't just incorporate themselves into the mouse's brain. They did more. They started to replace the older glial cells that were present. And these were human cells that are now taking over the mouse's brain. And this is something that researchers have found a lot with embryonic tissue, so these are stem cells. They tend to be highly invasive. If you put a brain organoid in an adult mouse's brain, it ends up making connections pretty much all the way throughout the brain, down to the spinal cord. It has one job: grow in whatever environment it's been put in, and yes, it will do it. Unfortunately, a lot of the research around trying to put other kinds of stem cells in a brain just haven't worked out all that well. There's been better outcomes for brain organoids. So while progenitor microglial cells may do just fine, if you want to just toss some stem cells in your head and hope that it makes you younger or smarter, that's probably not going to work out very well. In fact, you're a lot more likely to get cancer. But I am excited for research with brain organoid transplants, and it seems that it is finally starting to move forward. And I have some other questions. So I have heard from a lot of people with organ transplants that they've had some pretty interesting experiences, and I've never quite bought it. I've never seen any research that transplanting organs results in real personality shifts, aside from just the trauma of going through a transplant. I have wondered if transplanting brain organoids that have been trained on a certain task would retain any of those memories, and I haven't found convincing evidence for that, unfortunately, but it is a burning question. Unfortunately, while this research is talking about transplanting glial cells from the young, for humans it would likely come from the very same patient. If you have dysfunctional glial cells, or perhaps something like Parkinson's, potentially even treatments for Alzheimer's, they would take healthy cells from you that have potentially been genetically edited, turn them into stem cells, and that is a complicated process, but it can be done, and then transplant them. It really is just kind of a quirk that it works human to mouse. I do hope you've enjoyed this. I will keep you up to date. In fact, you have no choice. Follow for more.